No, I'm that's all I got.
Okay, let's get started.
Hey, it's not cheap, but it's a lot. Like, they do.
We'll start with the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Daniel, would you say a few words for us, sir?
Father God, I thank you for the weather. I thank you for this day you've made for us. Please help us as council make the right decisions to guide Centerburg into the future. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, let's get started. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
Megan, let's get started with Megan. Give us a roll.
Dave. Sandra. Here. Rusty.
Here.
Daniel.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
John.
Here.
Julie. Here.
All right, let's, how about look over the council meeting minutes from last month? A lot of stuff to digest there.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Daniel.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Sandra. Yes. Rusty.
Yes.
Julie. Yes.
May warrant reports.
Motion to approve.
Second. Doug. Rusty.
Yes.
Julie. Yeah. Daniel.
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Sandra. Yes. John.
Yes.
The May sewer accounts receivable summary.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Julie. Yes. Daniel.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Sandra. Yes. Dave.
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
And the May credit card statement. You see there's something about a non-sufficient fund charge reversed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Daniel.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Sandra. Yes. Rusty.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Julie. Yes.
Okay, now let's get to public participation.
We didn't know we had like
Everybody sign in. We now have a whole piece.
Anybody want to say?
Okay, Rick. PA report.
So you have my report in your packet. Happy to answer any questions about that. One thing we didn't get to in the work session beforehand, a couple of things I'm working with the county on. The first is an agreement to lease space for the trailheads along the trail. Met with Commissioner Lester and Jason Booth a couple weeks ago. Generally, they're open to that. They've given us a sample lease that they have with other municipalities that we can work from. So I expect in July probably to have a request to enter into a lease for those trailhead restroom locations along the trail. Part of the reason that popped up now is because having a lease is a requirement of the Nature Works grant program, which we're submitting a grant for the end of this month. So, the other thing we discussed was whether the village would be interested, or the county, in us hosting their recycling containers. I know the school used to do that at the 80 Miller Street property that we purchased, and we are envisioning a street garage facility. I brought up to them that, we all know it's going to be a hassle, not a big hassle, but we're going to have to clean up around them. It's going to consume some of our staff time. They generally seem open to an agreement where they may help us out with up to, let's say, $20,000 in our civil engineering costs for the site in exchange for a maybe multi-year agreement to host that site. So I'm working with Zach on drafting something probably that says, we're willing to host your dumpsters for, let's say, 10 years. You'll pay $20,000 toward our civil engineering. Not to say we can't decide to end it, just we have to repay probably the share they paid back. So they seem pretty open to that. I think it's good just to broker a good relationship with the township and the county. I know probably most people in the village who want recycling have recycling service. But from what I'm hearing, people are traveling to Morrow County, up to Miller Township, where on Sycamore Road they have dumpsters. It's losing the Centerburg location for recycling has been impactful to the county, but also getting some support toward our architectural and engineering costs for the street garage could benefit us. And then the last item,
Or we put that there before the building was built.
yeah, I think we could easily, the architect is aware of it, so he's gonna look at a good location where we could get the dumpsters in before the building's built. That way we can restore the recycling location as we work out a final agreement.
I mean, the reason we kept them down at the store and at the school is because a lot of people have passed through there. We kept just those open up unless we fence it off until certain time.
The other thought, and this came up with Jason, is the fact that Miller Street's kind of hidden away works to our advantage. People aren't just gonna drive by and see a dumpster. They're gonna have to consciously go there
You
to
get in the way. Yes.
And that's why the architect wanted to look and see what makes the most sense for securing and pass through. But at the end of the day, like, people have to be able to access it.
We'll do the site work, right, with the garage?
Correct.
Once it's engineered?
Yeah,
do the
we'll-
Site work, working into it, huh?
Yeah, but not before. That's why I went there.
Oh, I mean, you're out the gravel there, you get it.
We're working on it. I just want council to be aware that we're,
It's just a big
Well,
mess.
you get, that's why
so we prefer to wait until the site's built out for any restoration.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It might be worth putting some cameras on there to
Yeah.
dumping.
The last thing, I just want to let council know that there are a few communications that we are planning to send out probably before our next council meeting. The first is, we're waiting on decision from Ohio Liquor Control, well, not decision, but approval for the DORA that council approved. Once that's received, there will be a mailing going out to the downtown businesses. They'll have two decals. One says I allow DORA beverages, and one says I don't. This is pretty standard in DORA districts, just so people know where they can carry drinks. I'll also be scheduling a meeting with Long Branch and Midway to determine when the right time to start the DORA would be, and I'll report that out to council. Second mailing is out to the property owners of Hazel Heights. Obviously, we had a number of them come to our meeting in April, wanting to restart that annexation discussion. Zach, in your legal memo, has provided some guidance on area annexations if people are interested. Well, basically, the mailing would have a postcard Megan's put them all together for us. Have a postcard that they would send back saying either I'm open to considering annexation, absolutely not. If a majority of those residents are interested, we can have a public meeting with those residences and see how to move forward. That did come up at my meeting with Commissioner Lester and Administrator Booth. I think if we do want to consider bringing that part of the village or that part of the township into the village, we do some due diligence of roadway infrastructure, sewer infrastructure costs. It appeared that the commissioners would be open to if there is some improvements that need to be done before we'd be willing to take that over. That's something they'd be open to discussing. The second concept I had is just like the other new developments, maybe we require they join the NCA if we find issues in the first 10 years associated with that subdivision. We could build that back to that subdivision instead of burning the rest of the village.
So let me get this straight, or even though the majority of, if you're not touching the whole subdivision, and when you say repairs, talking about the road, talking about new pipes,
Well, I don't know about new pipes. We want to make sure.
but it's been in there a long time.
Well, that's why we get engineering out there to look and see how the pipes are. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse. If 18 people from that community send a postcard back that says, I'm not interested, then we don't need to have any more discussion about it. I mean, we don't need to dig any deeper than that. So
How
this
many
is
residents are out?
30, there's 33 property owners. One of them is the commissioner.
I can't remember, do they all have to agree to annex or just a majority?
A majority.
Majority of the whole original subdivision.
A majority of the residents of the area being considered for annexation. So
What if somebody sold their house?
there are, so I did look when we did the mailing, all but 5, I think, are owner occupied residences, but there are 5 that are owned either in a different part of Centerburg or Sunbury or Columbus. They're the owners, so they would decide as the owners whether they want. But that's only 5 out of 33 owners in here.
They have an amount, you'd be looking at an amount, county, like that,
Not until I find out if there's even an interest in annexation.
okay.
One question. So it requires a majority vote if someone doesn't respond, or what's the act? It's not on ballot, or is it?
It's a petition, so
Petition.
I'll kind of defer to Zach, but my understanding is let's say I have 18 property owners from Hazel Heights desire annexation. Those 18 would sign a petition requesting annexation of the county commission.
And a non-response is still counted as a no.
Correct.
So you have what particular repairs beside the road?
I don't know if there's actually any repairs needed, but my concern on taking on new developed area into the village is what's the cost for the infrastructure, sewer and roads. And so we look at the condition, life of the road. Talking to Alex, the plowing of that small section is not significant to his operations. But we would assume the responsibility for that infrastructure as soon as we can.
There's a decent sized culvert back there at the back too that you obviously have on.
So we'll see how many are actually interested. If there's a majority, then we'll send some people out there to assess the infrastructure and see what the usable life is on.
If it's good enough.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for, Zach.
Yeah, so part of the reason why the packet I passed out is large is I did include the section from the CCAO annexation manual. So whenever I have in the past worked on an annexation, first thing I do is pull out this manual. So really, this is getting in the weeds and giving you a very good summary of what is an area annexation. And then towards the back there are procedural flow charts and checklists and things like that. So the concept there is get a majority of the landowners in the area wanting to annex, and then there's a flow chart based upon what's in the Ohio Revised Code. So if you get really interested in what one of those annexation processes looks like, I provided that copies of that manual. So other than that, I don't have anything to report except for what's in my submitted memo.
Okay, that's great stuff, Mr. Peter. Thanks, Zach. Okay. Fiscal officer, Rick, you want to go over the revenue summary or?
So, I usually do a detailed appropriation summary every 3 months, so I'll hold on that for next month like I did in March or April. One thing I will mention is, Chris, our fiscal consultant, and Stacy worked together on a, ordinance 18. He didn't really like the way I did the ordinances before, and he said, pass this one and don't change it. And I said, okay, I won't touch it. So, some of that ordinance that you're seeing is a lot of him pulling from the line accounts he would like to see it from, instead of what Stacy and I kind of guessed at. So, you'll notice some sidewalk stuff in there, some road paving stuff that, you considered in the last 2 meetings that he just didn't like working. Unfortunately, with our consultant Stacy ramping up, learning more and more about the job, we don't get access to him that regularly, a couple times a month, but this should get everything we've tried to pass the last 3 months in line. That's all from this one.
All right, thanks, Rick. Well, the fire chief, Ed Harrison, Dan, do you have anything for us from the fire board?
We got the email or the phone call, we have our audit going on. So our fiscal officer will be busy for a while. Got a couple items on gov deals for sale, some old turnouts, some well pump. The levy tax this spring, so we're grateful for that. We have the shed out back that has been falling apart for a number of years. And that's been on the back burner, and we're looking at getting that replaced this summer. And other than that, our volumes are about where we expect them, and we'll have business as usual.
All right, thank you, Pedro.
You know, if there was a, you have diesel out there, fuel, you have regular fuel, yeah.
I assume it's just on-road green diesel.
Okay, but there's no gasoline.
There's only one tank, right?
Okay, I didn't,
I
I didn't know if you had one or not, but we were discussing it at the new building.
Yeah, my dad, uses, what's called Dunkin' oil, and they give us gas and diesel.
Thanks.
And they provide the tanks too.
Above ground,
500 gallon double wall.
one out there is area.
I believe Dunkin' services that tank as well. I'm not sure if it's their tank though. I'm sure there's a sticker right on it.
I don't think so. I actually think it was installed maybe just after I was leaving the fire department, so it's been there a while, and I think
That
the
makes sense. as-
district installed their own.
Usually Dunkin' don't provide any tank for free. It almost feels like it would be built into the cost of the fuel, but you can't tell what it is. You can just do provide it.
What's the matter? You buy or they buy?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, we were trying to figure out, but, the engineer frosted his mouth when you keep adding stuff to the new building. And if unless we could get him to write on the picture, the cheaper it's gonna be.
I'm not sure like what the requirements are for a fuel tank when it's setbacks from the building. If it's a double wall tank, I'm not sure it needs any special
I'm sure.
planning. Yeah.
I would think the fire department would.
Yeah.
Cheap one now, I guarantee you that. All right, thanks. That it, Dave?
Yep.
Anybody, any other questions? Okay, let's get with the old business. You want to talk to any of these, Rick?
None of these.
Oh, 2026-19 is a resolution of authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental electricity aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4928.20 of the Ohio Revised Code, directing the Knox County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors. That's a second reading. The next one is resolution 2026-20, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4929.26 of the Ohio Revised Code, directing the Knox County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors. Second reading again. And resolution 2026-21, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to advertise for bids for a single source trash hauling in the village of Centerburg for a 1, 2, and 3 year term. And that again is a second reading. Here we go. Now, let's go on to new business. Ordinance 2026-17, an ordinance to authorize the fiscal officer to submit the proposed 2027 budget for the village of Centerburg to the Knox County auditor and declare an emergency. So we need a motion to waive the 3 readings.
I move to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Dave,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Julie. Yes. Don,
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Now we need a motion to approve.
So moved. Hardwick.
Second, Pruitt. Daniel,
Yes.
Julie. Yes. Don,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Okay, the next one's ordinance 2026-18, an ordinance providing for amending and revisiting specific line items in the appropriation of expenditures for the village of Centerburg for the calendar year 2026 and declaring an emergency. Once again, we need a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Move to waive.
Second.
I guess I have a question. What are we amending? What are we revising?
So, as I mentioned before, we pretty much expect to have one of these at most meetings. Previous to Stacy coming in, there was a lot of moving of funds around accounts without council approval that we want to make sure. In this particular instance, as we've been trying to really get up to speed with properly moving funds around the budget, as things would come up throughout the month, I'd add it to pieces of legislation. Chris sent me this, I think a week after our last meeting, and said, put this one before council, don't change it. So a lot of this is actually corrections to things that Stacy and I tried to get right and didn't really get right. So you'll notice, like, in the middle, 490-31-000 and 490-432-000. We had tried to move money. This was to put money into the tree program and the sidewalk program. Apparently I didn't do that right. So
That's why you're not this long.
this is why I'm not the fiscal officer. So Chris got it right for us. And so, and he didn't really love, not that we couldn't do it, he didn't love taking the funds for some of the cameras and other programs out of the personnel expenses, even though we're not using that line. He's like, I just like to leave that there in case something happens later. So he spread those out through a couple of different accounts that didn't look like they were going to need as much revenue as we had budgeted. So,
So this is
Yeah.
just shifting money around in jars.
yeah, moving money in jars. There's a little bit, you see there's an addition to 75. Remember, we did 78,000 for paving, he did that a little bit differently. And then the addition in the park fund is we actually did another appropriation letter to the county auditor based off of anticipated DORA revenue. And so they're allocating that to fund some of those programs. But yes, he basically didn't like how I tried to do it. So we're doing it the fiscal officer's way.
Okay, thank you.
So we have motions, so we have 3 reading.
Second. You the second, who's the motion?
Oh.
Sorry.
Sandra?
Yeah.
Julie?
Yeah.
Dave?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Now, most have a motion passes.
Motion to pass.
Second.
Julie? Yeah. Don?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
We'll speak on these last two.
Ordinance 2026-19, an ordinance to establish an employee dishonesty and faithful performance of duty policy and declaring an emergency. And why don't you fill us in on this one, Rick?
Yeah, so when we passed the authorization to renew our insurance, I had mentioned to council that we were considering a few additional policies, one being a cybersecurity policy, another being a faithful performance employee dishonesty policy in addition to our employee bonds. Part of the reason for that was the fiscal officer with the $35,000 bond, and I think the mayor with the $10,000 bond. If that bond is forced to pay out for some reason, they're personally forced to pay that bond back. So the policy will actually cover most of what the bond would cover without it impacting our fiscal officer and our mayor. So since communities are not allowed to pass these type of policies, it does require a resolution from our insurer. So the insurer sent me a good resolution. Zach looked it over and said, works for him. That's why.
We get a discount?
Well, interestingly enough, we got a discount on our insurance, so adding these additional policies is kind of a wash from what we paid last year.
Okay.
This is insurance and discount, the same order.
Bundle it, right?
So, do we have a motion to waive the 3 readings?
So moved. Hardwick. Second. Wallace.
Rusty?
Yes.
Dave?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Julie? Yes.
Okay, now we need a motion to approve that.
So moved. Hardwick.
Second.
Oh.
Second. Wallace. Sorry.
Sandra?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Julie?
Okay. Ordinance 2026-20, an ordinance amending codified ordinances to allow the correction of the scrivener's errors by the clerk. That's the first reading. We don't have to pass that by?
But maybe Zach he caught this for us, and so he might be able to lay out what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get my code up real quick. Basically, the idea behind this is that if there's a minor clerical error in a meeting minutes, number on one of the accounts on the appropriations that's been transposed, that this would basically give the authority to the clerk to make the correction with the provision that they notify council within 3 months that the correction was made. Basically, what it's doing is it's allowing minor corrections to be made that then you don't have to reauthorize the resolution of ordinance again next month. I know Worcester has a code very similar to this. I don't know what the other community I looked at, and I kind of blended what others were doing to create this. I don't recall when this goes into effect, if this is passed, which is what I was trying to find really
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Scrivener's errors is something most communities I've worked in allow for correction of. So the example that I had is we actually, one of the financial legislation I tried to do, I messed up the account number. So I had the account label correct, I had the account number wrong. In most communities, you correct that account number, no big deal. But we had never passed an ordinance allowing that type of correction. So Zach was able to bring us a Scrivener's error ordinance where the clerk, Megan, could correct an error. If we find one, she just has to report back to you at our next meeting, more than likely that, hey, we made this correction, instead of going through the whole legislative process all over.
So is that just voicing, hey, we made this error, we get it back over this way, for you to document in some way?
She would document it and be documented in the next meeting's minutes. But also, if council heard that, hey, she corrected this error, and you're like, whoa, 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 we don't agree with this, then we could just simply take it back through the legislative process. It's more of a transparency issue that
Right.
we don't want to be changing things you vote on unless you know about it. But also, if we think we got it right, we didn't, then we can completely reconsider it at that point.
If you read exhibit A, it explains.
But we'll give this a first reading and then we'll see how we feel about it.
I would mention the other stopgap I put in there as well is that before the correction can be made, the solicitor has to give written approval of it, so that way it's the safeguard there.
Okay.
It's actually what happened when I did the accounting. I emailed Zach and he's like, well, actually, no. We gotta pass this ordinance in order to be able to do that, so.
Let's go off the road.
Well, given the change in dynamic where Megan's handling all of our meetings and Stacy's doing the fiscal officer, technically Megan's our clerk. And since she's at the meetings, she's the one best suited to,
I just want to make sure.
Yep, I think she's the one best suited to make the correct.
Okay, is that it? We don't have to pass that as an emergency?
We'll give another meeting.
All right, it's still early.
Oh, 6:30.
Oh, let's do one. Let's do round table. Let's start with Dave.
Just notice there's kind of part, there's what are you doing? We ran both of them or part of them? They're both together at the fence line.
The ones at the playground or the ones at the ball field? So we are renting the ones at the playground to make sure we have resting facilities at the playground. No. And then the ball field ones are basically, I think we pay for one and the league pays for the other.
Thank you.
That it? Rusty,
I got nothing.
how about a clock? You gonna
We're
take
working
your
on a
clock?
clock, yeah, we're working on a clock.
Yeah, you just turn it to 6:35.
You already turned it
That clock
once.
hasn't worked since I was on council. That's it, the clock.
Yep,
Rusty's
all I
starting
got.
the clock. Got the medicine. Mother,
Yeah, community yard sale this Saturday. So hopefully the deputy, if he sees people parking on Harvard Avenue, where it says no parking, that he'll let it slide.
Gonna be a lot of congested traffic, that's fine.
I will shoot an email over to our deputy that there's parking allowed there. And you reminded me, this Saturday starts the summer event series that Megan has been so diligently planning for us.
You're not coming.
We're working on it. We're gonna figure it out, but yeah, I won't be at this one, but we're pretty excited to get the summer started.
Yeah, the farmer's market starts Thursday night. 4:30 to 7, no parking. That's all I have.
okay, thanks, Mother. Mr. Wallace,
My only issue is the speeding that's still occurring in Hartford. Yeah, there's a kid on a bike. There's this whole Mitsubishi, I guess, gray below two. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so, but,
Wouldn't have to be an accident, but
maybe there's a little white Honda has like one of those aftermarket pipes, sounds like.
Good morning, Ryan.
Yeah. It's parked right here at the speed.
Got the Hess edition and.
Parked right here at that Mitsubishi.
Is it?
Yeah, it's black as
Yeah.
a-
So other than that, I mean, school's out. So we'd like to see that slow down so we don't have any issues.
Austin will get him.
Oh, yeah.
Sooner or later.
Was that?
Austin will get him, I've got people. He's looking. Thanks, Donna. Daniel.
I might mention, a soliciting issue. I mean, it's impossible to nail it down, but you had mentioned the, what, Green River ordinance a while back. My sister had a pest control company knocking on her door and pressured her into signing some contract she had no desire to sign.
The idiots on them segways?
Yep.
Yeah, I shoved them off my property in damn hurry.
Yeah,
Did
They're
you
impossible.
sign that?
Did
she
they,
did,
did they check in with them? Or clerk?
no.
They have to get a permit.
I
Yeah.
asked them for inward west, and they said,
Right.
yeah.
Your sister lived in
She
the
lives
village?
just behind the building, you're next to, across the street from the building.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we've issued any permits.
No,
Right.
yeah.
Um,
Well, they can stop.
with our live stream, if anybody receives a door-to-door salesperson, you can request to see their permit from the village. If they don't have one, I recommend you call Village Hall so that we can look into it, or frankly, send Austin out there to kick them out of town.
Is it two individuals on site?
Yeah, I think it was one that came to her, but I think, all right,
Hands and press nice.
yeah.
They were selling solar panels, for 6 months ago. They really were.
Yeah, well, these two individuals, they were out at, they were developed, wow. Yes, they didn't approach you. So it was kind of sketchy. They asking specific questions like, when you got some cameras, I get calls. It's kind of sketchy. But
Yeah.
they showed me like potentials.
Watch out, there's a lot of scumbags out there.
Do what we can, that's all I have to mention.
Julie, you're out. Nothing? Well, that's
Sorry to disappoint.
Home supper is still warm.
we've been gone all day, haven't
Yeah.
we? We went on a little tour to New Albany, Village of New Albany shows around. It was really interesting. There's a huge cancer research building they're building there. It's just amazing. Couple $1 billion. But anyway, I just want to say, the other day, there was a terrible sinkhole at River's Edge. And thanks to Rick and Alex and the rest of the guys, they rented a hoe and dug that thing up, fixed it, saved the village a lot. Mount Vernon brought a slip box in and let us borrow it. And we really need to look into buying them. And they dug it up and fixed it and filled it back in and a day and a half. Did a super job. We have paid dearly to come. So when you see those guys, thanks.
I appreciate the thanks, but I didn't have anything to do. So they took care of it. We appreciate it.
Is that the new repair?
I wouldn't say it's a new repair, but it's a newer part of the village.
Not year.
No,
Oh, no, I expect when Quill is.
yeah, it's when it was originally installed. He said that two problems there. When they installed the line, they cut the bevel on one of the connections in a way that it was just, begging to break at some point. And then he was a little surprised that they bedded all that stormwater line in just sand. So it's not like they gravelled it in or anything. So he was a little surprised to find that.
They just all wash away in the pipe.
That's a lesson learned as we go through and send somebody to inspect as they build the infrastructure. If they do new developments, then We wanna make sure they're bedding those pipes properly.
Those nines, they're cheap. They're real cheap.
Well, that might have been what you did back, it was 20 years ago.
Everyone wants to use them because they're so cheap.
That's all I have. Enjoy the band Saturday night.
Wish I could be here.
And with that, I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Here, you can put my copies.
Mayor and Dave, I need to get you before you.
Is it really? You've already got them?
Yeah.
They've already got them. You got them? Alright, you're good to go. Oh, so. I had it in my, supposed to be a few days ago. And that's the revenue. Good day. She wants the revenue, like the day. Take care. Hey, I was trying to get, it's like 4 pages. And it shows what all of our revenues have used. Next meeting. I was ready. I'll forget my name. That's all right. I'll put it in there again. Yeah. See you guys.
Hey, see you, Rusty.
Tell your dad. I think it's. I think it's just.
Between the two of us, we've got a couple of guys who
I
can
don't know.
drum.
It might be, but let me see, because like I said, it's still very early.
Michael,
They might
buddy,
decide
and
now
I
they
like
want
that.
to, and then we might
Put
decide.
something together.
We plan on doing
Maybe
something.
next year.
I heard a plan the other night.
Probably. And again, they haven't agreed to anything yet.
I figured out, you know,
See, but that's how we feel about Michael. We're like, they were down in Cincinnati Tradition, they were looking for some instrument. They just like, when we talked to Michael Wallace, she's like, does he play tuba? But Dave was like, well, not yet.
That's where.
I think, whatever that next you want to.
Yeah.
That's the trumpet. And, they called Mike, said, hey, we need some.
My gut tells me no, which means we could pass it.
I got mine. Cincinnati.
I get it.
And itself, but.
I don't understand e-bikes, like, either get in the car
He was just down there today.
or ride a bike.
Switched him over.
What's the point in just around the trail?
Did he go down this weekend then?
Yeah.
They were hoping, so we
Yeah.
had, it's a pretty big deal, we have 3 kids down here from our band
Mr.
down.
Hardwick, what's up? Yeah.
You like one?
So, Mr. Love today,
Well, I know Andy,
We're working
right,
on it.
really, really helped me.
Megan's
I
working
said,
on getting
I saw him in the parking lot, I was like, Michael, you need to
Thursday,
put
Friday.
it in work with dad and council.
We're gonna put
Yeah.
Andy's on the phone.
They might actually look, but if we go around and find that they're not getting water in
My
your.
brother-in-law lives down there, and so
Where's she
Nathan
at?
Miles just stayed with him, so Nathan was gonna just take Andy and Michael at least sometimes.
How's it going?
Save
No, your only identity is that little one.
hang out at my brother-in-law's house on Saturday night, so.
Yeah, well,
But-
you got no exterior lights. We
I
have,
like working on Saturday.
we
It
have.
is a Saturday? Well, I'll go.
You see,
Yeah, it's like.
I guess they're doing a ribbon cutting for their, between the groups to Lions Club, doing that sign.
No, that's great.
Sorry.
I'll send you one.
Picking up the stepdaughter
Because
from
if
golf.
they do have
Oh, we
TCI.
did that.
and
Oh, did you do?
Yeah.